Have you ever felt overwhelmed by your emotions or wished you could just hit a reset button on your mood? Well, what if I told you that mastering your emotions and therefore transforming your life is not this pie in the sky idea, but rather a very achievable reality? Hi, I'm Candace, and in this video I'm going to share the secret to emotional mastery that will change your life forever. I want to introduce you to the FeelFLOW Formula, a revolutionary system that will empower you to navigate your emotional world with ease and confidence. Let me walk you first through its key components, and then after that we'll put all the components together into a seamless flow or sequence, and I'll show you how you can use this formula practically in each day of your life. So the first component is called the open-close awareness gauge. Life is a game of open and close. How we feel in our body tells us everything we need to know. The open-close awareness gauge is simply about asking yourself, how do I feel at this moment? Open or closed? An open feeling usually feels something like freedom, lightness, expansiveness. A closed feeling usually feels something along the lines of heaviness, tense, tightness, restriction, small. So this technique helps you tune into your body signals. You learn to recognize whether you're feeling open, light, and free versus closed, tense, and restricted. And this awareness is your first step towards emotional mastery. It's about becoming really attuned to what is going on in your body. And just to make very clear, this is not about labeling a feeling as good or bad. Rather, it's about what message is my body, and as a reflection, the universe, providing me in this moment. And then from there, what action do I need to take to return to alignment with an open feeling, to return to alignment with my higher self? So think of this gauge as providing you an answer as to whether something or some situation is in service to you. Basically a yes or no answer. And then from there, it becomes analogous to open or closing a faucet. The more you open a faucet, the more water pours out, right? So how much of that feeling do you want? If you want more, let's turn the faucet open even more. And if you want less, let's close the faucet. And we open and close the faucet using the next component, which is the vibrancy expansion visualization. Here, you're going to amplify positive feelings by visualizing someone or something or some place that you associate with your desired feeling. So, for example, if your desired feeling is love, you may imagine someone whom you love deeply. Then you amplify that feeling by imagining it filling you up and overflowing out of your body into your surroundings, filling the room you're in, filling your home, filling your community, and so on. And by doing that, you intensify and amplify your desired feeling. We have the ability to feel whatever we wish to feel on command. And to do that, we simply need to develop a sensitivity to leaving the present moment. What does it feel like when I'm not anchored in the here and now? And that's where the next component comes into play to develop that sensitivity. And it's called present pulse tuning. To keep you anchored in the here and now, we have present pulse tuning. By bringing more and more awareness to each moment and how you are feeling in each moment, i.e. open or closed, you start to become more sensitive to what it feels like when you're not present. Usually it doesn't feel good. There's some distress or discomfort there. And in fact, that's what anxiety is. That's what stress is, being out of the present moment, being out of the here and now. So think of present pulse tuning, kind of like turning the radio dial back to your favorite FM station. When the dial is turned elsewhere, well, you probably don't like the music and you don't want to listen to static. It's not pleasant, right? So same goes for how you're feeling. Gently anchor yourself back to the present moment. as simple as turning the radio dial. Now, this practice enhances your ability to stay in the present moment, fully experiencing and appreciating life as it unfolds. It's about cultivating a sensitivity to when you drift away from the present and gently guiding yourself back. So maybe at first you spend 10% of your day in the present, and that's totally okay, because then it grows, maybe 12% the next day, 20% a couple weeks later, 50% a few weeks later, and so on, until the bulk of your day, the majority of your day, is in the here and now. Now, there are 2 key tools that will help you spend more time in the present, and those are the next 2 components of the FeelFLOW formula. The first one is called Breath Wave Rebalancer. This is a key tool, probably one of the tools that you're going to use most often. And here we're just checking in with your breath. What is your breathing like? If it's not open and expansive, then take 3 deep, intentional breaths. This practice can be done anytime, anywhere, bringing immediate calm and focus. Now, how you take the breaths is key. So they need to be deep, a nice long deep breath in through your nose, and then out through your mouth as if you were breathing that breath through a straw. So imagine that you're breathing the out breath, the exhalation, through a straw. And you're going to do that 3 times, each time getting a little deeper, a little slower. So think of the breath wave rebalancer as the tool, like I said, that's going to get used or taken out of your toolkit most often. You bring it out regularly in your day, kind of just like checking the time. In that way, it can be done proactively. Now, it can also be used if you're feeling acute feelings, maybe feelings of anxiety, worry, or stress. It could be used to reset your emotional state in that moment. The next tool is the Emotional Pivot 180. So when emotions become particularly overwhelming or more intense, that's when you go to the Emotional Pivot 180. It's like hitting the reset button on an emotional state that you kind of may be marinating in, or it feels especially difficult to get unstuck from. Here, what we do is count slowly to 180. Allowing your mind to pause and reset. And you follow that up by affirmations of self-love to pivot towards a more positive state, which is the next component that I'll get to in a second here. Now, if you imagine a car going 100 miles per hour in reverse, you can't expect that car to all of a sudden go into drive, right? Same too with your emotional states, especially the ones that are overwhelming or particularly intense. It's analogous to going reverse, 100 miles per hour. So counting to 180 is the equivalent of stopping the car. Stopping that car going in reverse at 100 miles per hour. And of course, then we need to put the car in drive, and we do that using the next component, which is called the spectrum of self-love reflection. So immediately after using the Emotional Pivot 180, we engage in a self-love reflection. To do that, you say 5 things immediately that you love about yourself. The first 5 things that come to mind. So that's the equivalent of putting the car in drive so that you get the momentum going in the opposite direction. Okay, so to recap, the breath wave rebalancer or breath check can be done at key times during the day. At the start and end of your day is recommended at a minimum, and then it can also be done throughout the day and as needed. This one takes 10 seconds tops. And if you feel more stuck in an emotional state, it's more overwhelming or particularly intense, combine that with the Emotional Pivot 180, followed by the self-love reflection. Now, at this point, you could use just those 6 components we've gone over and get excellent results. The next 2 components you could think of as bonuses. Think of them as helping to magnify the results you get. Start with the first 6, get those into kind of a second nature state. You don't have to think about them, and then add these next 2 when you have those others down. So the 7th key component is called Harmony Hunt. Ever have the experience where, say you're thinking of buying a red car, and then over the next few days, it feels like you see more red cars than you have in your entire life? It happens because the color red is in your present mind awareness. That's analogous to what we're doing with this next component, harmony hunt. So you want to focus on the feelings and experiences that you wish to multiply. You place more focus and energy on those feelings. What you focus on grows. And when you do that, you'll start noticing and creating more of that in your day-to-day life. So create your dream moment. How do I feel in that dream moment? What is your desired dream feeling? We focus on the feeling in the moment because it allows a compounding effect to happen. The only time that truly exists is in this moment anyway. And when you focus on the moment, that feeling compounds into your dream hour, your dream day, your dream week, year, and you create your dream life. By focusing on feelings and experiences you want to multiply, you'll start noticing and creating more of them in your day-to-day life, much like seeing more red cars when you're thinking about buying a red car. And when you use the Harmony Hunt tool consistently, you jump timelines. And that's the last component to the FeelFLOW formula, ascension anchoring. So finally, the ascension anchoring technique helps you embody your higher self. Because by consistently practicing all these other techniques, you're not just changing your emotional state, you're evolving into a higher version of yourself, aligning your external reality with this elevated inner state of being. You're bringing the feelings and experiences that you want, that already exist in the quantum field. You couldn't desire them if they didn't already exist. You're bringing them from the quantum field into your physical reality. Your external reality begins to change to meet that higher frequency, that higher version of yourself. The more familiar those feelings become, the more second nature those feelings become to you, the faster the manifestation will happen. The faster those experiences become your day-to-day experiences, your life. The beautiful thing about this entire process is that practice is progress. Practice is progress. And with that, you've rigged the game. It's impossible to lose progress. It's impossible to fail because the game is growth. The game is evolving into your higher self. How beautiful is that? Okay, so now let's take all these components and put them together to illustrate how the FeelFLOW formula can be used in your day-to-day life. I'm going to give you a couple of examples. The first example, let's say, is more of an acute situation. Okay, so imagine you're at work and suddenly you feel a wave of anxiety wash over you. In this case, you want to start with the breath wave rebalancer. If the anxiety feels especially stuck or it's not budging as easily, then follow up the breath wave rebalancer with the emotional pivot 180. After you've counted to 180, immediately follow that with the spectrum of self-love reflection, saying 5 things you love about yourself. Now, if you have a little more time, you can finish with the vibrancy expansion visualization to amplify the feelings of calm that you've created even further, but that would be optional. So in an acute situation, how the sequence would look is breathwave rebalancer to emotional pivot 180 to vibrancy expansion visualization. Okay? Now, in our next example, this would look like more how to use it as part of your daily routine. So being more proactive. So let's imagine that you're waking up in the morning, and at that time, it would be a good opportune time to do an open-close awareness gauge. Next, use the breath wave rebalancer. So if you notice that you're feeling open, the intentional breathing will just help to set the tone of calm and focus for your day. Now, if you notice from the open-close awareness gauge that you're feeling more closed, what the breath wave rebalancer will do is provide a quick reset. And then if needed, you could follow that up with the emotional pivot 180 and expansion visualization. From there, you set an intention for your day using the Harmony Hunt. And throughout your day, you check in with yourself using the open-close awareness gauge and present pulse tuning to gently bring yourself back to the present moment when needed. So at the beginning of the day, breath wave rebalancer, setting an intention with the Harmony Hunt, and then throughout your day using the open and close awareness gauge and present pulse tuning to check in with yourself. So by incorporating the FeelFLOW formula in your daily life, you're no longer reacting to emotional states. You're actively shaping them. This system offers you the tools to navigate life's ups and downs with grace and resilience. Remember, the goal isn't to eliminate so-called negative emotions. It's to understand them, see them as messages, and transform them into opportunities for growth and happiness. It's about creating a more mindful, joyful, and peaceful life. Here's to creating quantum health together. If you like this content, I encourage you to sign up for my email newsletter so you can be the first one to get new content I create. And as a way of saying thank you, you'll also receive a free gift too. Till next time.